Greetings. Good evening. Welcome to another show. Wow. Wow, this one. There's some deep codes. Not that we haven't already covered some fairly deep codes. But now, wow. The more layers and levels that are accounted for on these various orders of magnitude, balancing between the organic and the geometric, really fine-tuning understanding of the reality that we live in. Indeed. So today we have reached day 60, and this is Galactic Arkana number 8, which is Justice. And this is the last card of the cards which I've changed the numbers. So this one is number 8 in the Galactic Arkana sequence. Yeah. Really, this is the higher dimensional overtone of the Infinity Codes project, which could really only come about with the liberation of the Infinity Codes. So here we are, Infinity Codes in hand, and we've nearly completed this full series, and now we're at the higher dimensional octave of the codes. It is the galactic eightfold organic connected to 8 key star coordinates, one of which is actually a galaxy, but you start off with star coordinates. So this is what we'll be discussing today. And it also relates to the tilt of the axis, because the tilt of the axis again somehow correlates with 8 long counts, which is this graphic again when we were talking about all the different waveforms. So we're now here, which is the T of the root. So we're now ending the beginning. So we're at the T, which is 8 long counts. So we're going to be connecting in back with, Galactic Arkana number 4, Galactic Arkana number 5, Galactic Arkana number 10. All these ones that relate to larger time cycles. Yeah. That's what it's about. So this 8 long counts is also 104 baktuns, which is another Mayan metric. 41,000 years, fluctuation between roughly 22 and 25 degrees from north, which is this here. That adjustment. Why it matters so much. So we're really now, it's about combined forces, because we've covered different parts. We've covered an overview and we've covered the different parts. Now we're going to quickly cover what the 8 represents and then see how the combined effects of these different waveforms create the output. Because it's about cause and effect. And we'll specifically talk about Greenland, and then we'll relate Greenland with Antarctica. To try and have a bigger picture, we have to take everything into consideration. So day 60, card 21, Galactic 8, Organic Galactic. 7 stars plus a galaxy. These are the key stars identified first via the original 3 fractal codes. Go to Galactic 3. Opposite the Andromeda peak is the depths of Arcturus, of which these codes found their start in inspired visions through long meditation. For the X, or cross-quarter stars, go to Galactic 4. The remaining 2 stars, Vega and Sirius, flow across from either side, from the heart of galactic center, all the way to the furthest reaches of the galactic edge in outer space, and is viewed from the north celestial pole. Yeah, so this is viewed from north celestial pole. Here. And these are the stars that have already been mentioned briefly. We talked about the Aldebaran and Taurus axis. Yeah. And we've been talking about these axes, which is the 4 and the 5. Yeah, but the 8's slightly different because that's to do with the tilt. Yeah, so you could say that the 8 is kind of sticking out from here and doing a wee thing that way. Because it's multi-dimensional. We're talking about multi-dimensional science. Multi-dimensional science. Wow. So that 41,000 year cycle, which is 8 long counts, is essentially the period of it going through a waveform in relation to the fluctuation between 22 and 25. Now, I have a few books that go into the details of that. These are a couple of the versions of it, and currently we sit at about 23.5. Now, some of the books have it between 21.1 and 24.5. No, that's 22, isn't it? 22.1, 24.5, and 21.8 and 24.4. So here are the midpoints, and we're roughly here. So we're very close to the midpoint. Now, I've mentioned the climatic equinox. So this could be the point, maybe means we're about to reach the midpoint, potentially, or head into the period when that occurs, essentially. It's fascinating when people talk about things like the tipping point. But these are 2 versions, which is just to, clarify the fact that there's different even views or different ways of decoding what's actually happened. But both of them, pretty much, we're very close to the midpoint. We're closer to the midpoint than either extreme. So that is the waveform of 8 long counts. And this is Galactic 8. Galactic Arkana number 8. Greenland. This is a picture of Greenland here, and the midpoint of Greenland here, yeah, roughly 70. Which is degrees north from the equator. Okay, but the axial tilt is measured from north down. So if 90 is the North Pole, then you have to count from there. So 70 is equal to 20 because it's 90 minus 70 equals 20. So this period here is about 20, and here you can see the numbers 22, 23, 24, 25. So you can see the fluctuation has greater effect here in Greenland. This is the midpoint of Greenland. The difference of it being down here and up here is quite a big difference in terms of how much of the landmass gets more light and all the other aspects that relate to the sun. Now that's similar for Antarctica, okay, but the difference between the two, okay, is fairly vast. Now that is a lot of data about Greenland and Antarctica, but what it's mainly relating is that Antarctica is 10 times bigger. Yeah. 10 times bigger. That's right. So they have different effects. Yeah. You'd say one has a bit more long-term effects and the other a bit more short-term effects. So we've shown the relation between the 372 and the 391 with Greenland. Potentially, the higher octave relates to Antarctica. Yeah. So even in terms of amount of ice, Greenland 2.6 gigatons, which is a billion tons, so 2.6 billion tons. Antarctica 26.5 gigatons. So it's 10 times the size. 10 times the size. It's immense. It's truly immense. So there are differences between Greenland and Antarctica. Antarctica rests on the pole. Greenland, its midpoint, is about 70 to 72 degrees north, between 18 and 20 degrees from the North Pole. And it's smaller. And all these things have to be factored into all these calculations for it to make, for the final pieces of the puzzle to actually make sense. Yeah, it does. Because, proof's in the pudding. Yeah. I've been baking a cake, yeah, over the last 60 days. A bit of ingredient of this, bit of ingredient of that, wee sprinkle of that, mix it around. Yeah. Yeah, all the geometries, different codes, mathematical principles, ancient science, modern science, historical record, ice cores, rise and fall of empires. Wow. So what's that actually saying? there's a higher dimensional energy, yeah, of the universe. It's bigger than the human condition. Yeah. While humans are, debating, there's science with a lot of answers already, and it's not coming from the traditional. No, it's not coming from the traditional places. No, I think they might be too heavily invested in their worldview. Yeah, both sides of the debate. Yeah, unfortunately. Well, if you've invested your entire lifetime in a set view of reality, and it turns out to be not the whole picture, Well, I have a lot of far more exciting numbers to share, but this 8 long counts. This is definitely one of the clinchers in this whole picture. I've mentioned before this idea of organic universe. Yeah. In our seasonal year, difference between the winter half and the summer half. The rough estimate of the previous times between interglacials. Yeah. Organic universe. Looking at it from the perspective of the axial tilt, though, what do we find? We find another one. 2 to 3, which makes 10. 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 is 10. Now there's 10 of these axial tilt alignment sequences over the larger 80 long count geometric metric. So another example of organic universe. But this time, it also includes the previous understanding, plus includes the axial tilt. And it actually shows how the axial tilt affects how strong the interglacial is. Yeah. Going back to here, as an example, similar things happen in Antarctica too. When this is lowest, yeah, and highest, what do you think that means? When the tilt is more or less? Yeah. Nested cycles. Nested cycles. If there's less of a tilt, yeah. What do you think that means? Maybe less effect on the ice? More tilt? A bit more effect on the ice. Yeah. Well, let's just have a look then. Right. Well, we've covered this one quite a few times, and we talked about these 4 periods and the main interglacials between them, and we talked about it in related to the 4 long count metric, the 5 long count metric. Yeah, the whole thing is 80 long count metric, and now we're going to bring in the 10 times the 8. So let's see if we can get all these details clear. So less of a tilt, yeah, more of a tilt. Let's have a look, see if we can get this all lined up nicely. Okay, here we go. Now, are we getting this? I hope we're getting this, because it makes complete sense. Yeah. Here, at the depth of an ice age, the tilt was at a minimum. Then there was an interglacial. It also happened to be maximum tilt. So it was the right time in the egg shape, long-term egg shape, and it was also the right time in the axial tilt. Okay, the egg shape changes, and you get an axial tilt wee bump, and depths, wee bump, and depths. Okay, so the depths, that's when it goes back up again. Okay, and then we had another interglacial, and yeah, look, pretty strong one, and axial tilt was in effect, so a strong one. And we keep going, and we get back to ice age, bit of a warming again, but ice age. And then, wow, look what happens here. Now you see these ones are dotted, and these ones aren't. And what you'll notice is this actually goes down, and then up again. See that going down? So this wasn't as strong, these two, but there was kind of like two of them. So why is that? Well, the period of the long-term egg had returned, but at the point at which it returned, the tilt was in the wrong place. Yeah? Here it was in the right place. Here it was in the wrong place. So it wasn't a strong interglacial. It was a weaker one. And then there was another weaker one. Yeah. Yeah. And it matches up with this pattern. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Fits perfectly. Because you see, when we get to here, and we go through the same cycles again, yeah, we get to the peak again, it's the depths. Look what happens. The alignment with the interglacial period, the return of the long-term egg, aligns with the axis again. Back to 25, like here. And it was a strong interglacial. And here again, we go through the same pattern, and we're back. And we've just had the same thing. So very similar to this one. Okay, and these ones, yeah, but these ones where it didn't align weren't as strong. Matches up. Matches up. Now there's further documents to show there's an inner Earth. Yeah, there's an inner Earth code, and I think it connects to the back turn. Funnily enough, the word back turn sounds awfully similar to back turn. Yeah, of the actual planet with its tilt. Yeah. So that's what I think actually maintains the 41,000 is the inner Earth. the Earth's electromagnetic field. Yeah. Matches the codes, the organic codes of the universe that we live in. Yeah, which isn't a clock. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, the clock's run out of batteries. Oh dear. What a fascinating symbol. This is a clock. It's a funny sort of clock. What's this then? Yeah? If that was a clock, what's this? This is the organic universe we live in. This is a clock. There's a massive difference, and I really hope these videos have somehow got this message across, because I think it's important. I think it's very important for us to understand the universe we actually live in, and yeah, I will say again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the wisdom of our ancestors. This is dedicated to our planetary ancestors and the wisdom of our entire planet as an alchemy. Yeah. Well, we're in the galactic codes now. Yeah. Galactic. Galactic codes. Codes of the universe that we live in. Match up over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. They help us make sense of periods of 500,000 years. Yeah. That connect with the long count of the ancient Maya. How could they possibly be in the possession of such wisdom? And they weren't the only ones. Yeah, ancient Egyptians too. And the ancient Chinese. Yeah, going back to legends of Fu Si. Yeah, liberating the infinity codes. Yeah, all traditions. The alchemy. Yeah, that transcends at the same time. Because it's the eternal knot of the infinity codes. 888. And this is the higher octave of the infinity code. 888. The axial tilt. See the scales there? See the balance? Yeah. Natural justice. Yeah. That's what Arcturian codes are. All of these are through the perspective of an Arcturian. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Greetings. Where are we in time? 23.5 degrees. Do we have the precise number on that? Has anybody checked it recently? Is it exactly 23.5 or is it 23.4? Where is it exactly? be worth measuring it precisely, for sure. Double checking that, for sure. But sometimes, sometimes these 0.1s and 0.01s and all these sorts of things are missed out, and it's just rounded numbers. Yeah. Because it's not as easy actually looking at the details. No. But the details are actually very important. Alright. Organic universe. Codes of the ancient Maya. All connecting up. Thank you for watching another show. And may peace be with you.